was out there in the night sky, stared up at the stars in the hopes of seeing something out of the ordinary? Have you heard unexplainable noises coming from a vacant room, or watched a shadow cross the wall in front of you? Have you asked yourself if there is life after this one, or if you had life before? What about strange creatures that are mythical and elusive? Have you experienced deja vu or felt a prompting to leave because you felt you were in danger? If you have, you were on the fringe.
Hello, welcome to another wonderful episode of On the Fringe. I'm Mark.
I'm Pam.
And our
Enzo.
special guest, Enzo. Yay!
Woohoo!
Our
Always fun to have
studio
it.
audience.
Yes. Hundreds and hundreds. Millions of people watching us all over the globe right now.
Well, I mean, some people all over the globe are watching us.
Ian's watching us. Hi, Ian.
We're certainly on a watch list, I'm sure.
I'm sure somebody is watching us, to see how much trouble we're going to be in later. We have ways of making you talk.
Over our head. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So, tonight we're going to finish up our little bit that we had left of our Out of Plates artifact show that we did a couple weeks ago, which got delayed because a certain someone might have injured herself quite badly. So we're not going to name names. But
I know not what you talk about.
the clutch gene is real.
It is the fall season, and she took it literally.
So yes. And so if anybody would like to donate rolls of bubble wrap,
Yes.
I'm not going to argue with that. That's
we're just going to start wrapping her up in bubble wrap before she's allowed to leave the house.
oh my goodness. Yeah.
So how many times has it been that you've taken a spill and broke something in the last couple of years? It's like once a year now, isn't it?
No,
Every other year.
maybe every other year. I broke my elbow a couple of years ago,
Oh my goodness.
and then I broke the tar out of my leg this time. So
And doing the same thing, I think.
yeah, tripped on a mat both
Yeah,
times.
tripped on a rug.
First time I went backwards and planted my hand and broke my elbow. And this time, I don't know what I did. Pirouette that did not work out.
A lot of gravity right around Pam.
Jeez.
Pam has achieved the singularity.
Ugh.
So
Yeah, I did a number on it. So, unfortunately, but I'm out of the hospital, doing well.
yay.
Yes. Did have
We're
surgery.
very happy.
So, yes.
And we're also going to have a short wrap up for our Border Town Paracon 2025, where a good time was had. I'm not sure by
I have
all,
to
but
remember.
a time was had anyway.
Time was had. Yes.
A time was had. Overall, it went pretty well.
It did. It was fun. We had a record number of people come through the door this year, which we were super thrilled with. And had some excellent presentations and a lot of return vendors and friends. And like Robert said, Robert Prevo, it's more of a family reunion with family you actually like than it is a convention. So I would agree with him on that.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yep.
A lot of these people, I wish I could see more than just once a year for our Paracon. And some of them we do. We've met some of them at Geneseo, and
Yep.
we've gone up there. We had We had a lot of people who we've seen at both places. Kansas really, even though they're small, has a lot of events that, are within an easy drive for us. Now, granted, Kansas is the size of some countries. So for what we consider a short drive, other people would consider odious. But
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. Well, we're getting Mark, you and your wife are coming to Arkansas Expo, and I'll be there too.
Actually, we will be skipping Arkansas because
bummer.
the long drive.
It's a
we-
trip.
we
That's why I was getting ready
Decided to do something a little shorter that weekend, but
It's quite.
what is it? 10 hours or 5 hours each way?
Oh no. It's like, I don't even know. I was thinking it was like three and a half.
When is that, in case people are interested in going?
It is let me look at the thing here. It's
25th?
the 25th and 26th of October. And it's in Fort Smith, Arkansas, or not Fort Smith. I'm so sorry. Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah, it should be good.
It's
Should be
always
good.
good. This will be the third year that I've gone, and I really like it. I go with the Muck, with the other podcast, and we usually live stream from it. It's a lot of fun. There's some big names. I know Ken Gerhard. He's big in the cryptid world. He'll be there, as well as Lyle. I lost his name. Lyle Blackburn. He's also a big name in the cryptid world. He'll be there, and yeah, there's some fun people. Heather is hosting again, and she actually last year started. If you watch Josh Gates' Expedition X, she's
I do.
the new girl on there. Heather, that's her. She's super nice. Yeah, she's hosted every year. Her mom's the one that actually got the expo started, and then Heather's the one that kind of steps up and helps her out quite a bit. So it's worth
That's
going
awesome.
to. It's fun.
You'll have to get me an autograph.
Of Heather's?
Yeah, I love that show.
I'll ask her. Yeah, that'd be fun. See, she wasn't allowed to tell. We weren't allowed to tell anybody last year because it was when the show came out. And this year we could talk about it. So
yay.
Kind of cool.
Genuine celebrity.
Yeah. So Paracon went pretty good this year. Record turnout.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a lot more, but it was more.
Yeah. It was enough to claim it was record because it was the most we've had. So
yeah, it was most. We actually did quite a bit better on the public coming in this time.
We did.
Than we did a lot of other years, but it all evened out quite a bit. I'm looking forward to next year. I think it's going to be swell. We're going to have a lot more options for next year, so I'm excited to explore all that.
Yeah, it'll be good. We did have, and our record turnout did not include the lovely people that were across the street. We did not count those.
Yes.
We just appreciate the fact that they caused more people apparently to be interested in what we were doing. And
for next year,
come in and check it out.
The Streisand effect certainly goes like, what are all those people protesting over there? What's going on? Actually, that sounds kind of cool. I'm going to go check it out.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had several people who had it brought to their attention that are planning to come next year. They just didn't have enough notice. But yeah, so it was like I was telling Pam earlier, there is no bad publicity. There is the publicity that you pay for and free publicity. And, so you can't pay for that sort of thing.
We have another reason to thank them too. While I was in the hospital, is when we found out that they were thinking about doing that. And it pissed me off enough that I spent my time in the hospital filing our 501c3 nonprofit organization paperwork, and our determination letter came in. We are official.
Yes, We are.
Excellent work, Pam. Good job.
Thank you. Thank the protesters too.
Yeah, they got us off our butts.
They did. It's something we were wanting to do for a while, and unfortunately, I had a lot of spare time on my hands. So, fortunately or unfortunately,
I think I about wore my phone out trying to keep up with all the text. I don't know how you text so fast. I didn't. God, I got a sentence and I've got like 5 new paragraphs.
Yeah. I am certainly the hunt and peck one letter at a time kind of
I
guy.
need that brrr thing.
Yep.
Thanks, Chris. Ian
So-
said we finally get to hear about the great Katy, Kansas. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that event. Yes, we're glad you got to tune into some of it, Ian. Unfortunately, not all of it, but some of it.
Well, we just get to recycle it.
You got a shout out from me during my presentation,
Yay.
as brief
Yeah.
as it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, we did have a small catastrophe that ended the show a little bit early. The venue had been struck by lightning a few weeks ago, or a few weeks prior, and unbeknownst to them, it had blown out a bunch of the fasteners that hold the roof on right next to the guttering, and the ceiling is not even tile, insulation, because it is a gymnasium
Yeah.
filled with water, and well, it actually burst. Fortunately, it was on us. We were all adults because nobody under 12. We usually don't have. We've got an age limit of 12 and up because some of the things we talk about, we don't want to expose children to it. And we also don't, we're not babysitters either.
Right.
But in normal circumstances, there would have been probably a practice going on, and kids or parents sitting on bleachers right underneath where that burst. And wet insulation in your lungs does not sound like a fun way to spend the rest of your day.
No, and it fell on one end of the auditorium or the gym, and actually water and insulation came clear up to where I was live streaming, which was on the opposite side of the gym.
Yeah,
So-
nearly clear across the building.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting. Like I said, fortunately, it was an adult centric event,
Yeah.
and there were no children to be harmed.
And yeah, and what we do is we move those risers off to the side, and then we had put our raffles and things up in that area. So had there been a game or anything else going on, someone definitely would have gotten injured, because that's where people sit when things are going on. So
Yeah, so
we're thankful that it was
We're
during
thankful
our
for that.
event and not during anything else. Stuff can be replaced. We don't
stuff can be replaced. People cannot.
right.
Right.
People cannot.
I prefer to think of it as the Border Town Paracon now has its own flood myth, like many other cultures across the world.
That's true. That's true. That's a nice segue, because we're going to be talking about
Hey,
flood myths and stuff.
So,
But anyway, get on and go to Border Town Strange, and we've streamed most of the day.
Yep.
And there's a lot of interesting things going on.
there's a whole
Check it out.
playlist set up.
It's
for
free.
the Paracon. So yeah.
It's free, just like the Paracon. Our
There's-
stream is free.
There's some interesting things that happened that day that we've talked a little bit about. I don't
Yeah,
know
let's
how much
go.
publicly we've talked about it, but right before the ceiling fell during Enzo's presentation, and right before it did, the big screen TV that we have setting to do the presentations on, which had performed beautifully all day, no hiccups, no anything, blinked out blinked back on, and then the deluge occurred. So that was really strange. So
Ian's younger drywall insulation.
That's good.
He's referencing the younger Dryas event, which happened about 13,000 years ago, which is basically the Great Flood. So,
nice
yeah.
play on words.
Which we will be discussing a little later.
Well, we will be discussing that. Thank you, Ian.
So yeah, just strange.
Yeah, we ought to have him on the show sometime.
Oh, that'd be great.
Should.
I
Totally should.
I bet he's a gas. He's fun in the chats. He's a gas on here.
Funny.
We'll have to get his contact information one of these days and just see if he'll get on here. Just for one of our fun shows.
Should do that for Halloween. It'd be like a trick or treat thing and bring
There
in
we go.
our
There you go.
guests from our audience.
That'd be
You
fun.
could even be in costume if they want to remain anonymous.
Awesome.
All right. So, out of place artifacts. We talked about quite a few last time we were on. And what have you got for us, Pam? Or would you like me to start it?
Let me see what I got. I can pull something up real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so this one was interesting. You know, we see a lot of things embedded in coal, you know, and a lot of flat irons or iron nails, things like that embedded in coal. This one I ran across, it was kind of interesting. It's a spiral shaped object embedded in coal. And I have a picture of it somewhere. Here it is. I am having major computer malfunctions today.
Well, I mean, if we win a show without having some technical difficulty,
Right?
we'd be about 30 years younger.
I'll tell you what, driving me nuts. Okay, so this was found embedded deep within a coal seam in southern Illinois, and it's, as you can see, it's a spiral-shaped object, and it was reportedly discovered in the early 20th century, and has since, you know, it really caused a lot of controversy when it was found. The surrounding coal bed is estimated to be over 300 million years old, and which, as you know, long predates any known man-made metal tools. The upper image, that shows what resembles to be like a metal auger bit or a drill bit that's very deep within the black shell. And you can tell it looks new. It doesn't look like it's, you know, been there very long. And then below it is the scale of excavation that reveals just how deep this thing was found, right? So if it is genuine, it would definitely defy any current understanding that we have of technological timelines. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it looks a little too good to be true.
Yeah, it looks a little newer than I would expect, but I mean, we're going to talk about the Iron Pillar of Delphi, and
Yeah.
it looks brand new, and it's been there for thousands of years. So I don't know. And, you know, and we talked about last time, there are these theories, and coal doesn't necessarily take billions of years or millions of years to form.
Yeah.
There's a lot of evidence right now that suggests that like natural gas and petroleum products could be formed by the interaction of the heat from the Earth's crust with the upper layers of the between the layers of the crust, and it's actually something that would happen with or without, you know, giant die-offs of dinosaurs or you know.
I'm laughing because you said that very Kansas accent on dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
Yeah, well,
Well,
see,
it's-
I recently rewatched everyone's favorite Jurassic Park, and I just channeled
Dinosaur.
the little cartoon thing that they like say the dinosaurs.
I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one to start us out with. Anyway, so we're talking about the iron pillar.
yeah. I think I've got an image here, possibly.
Sylvain's in the chat. Hi, Sylvain.
Oh yeah. Let me see if I can find that picture of the. Oh, yeah.
Ian is asking how deep that was found, Pam.
Let me double check here. Um, oh my gosh,
My
is it not
computer's
saying?
giving me
I thought it
crap.
said. So it was found, I want to say it was found like, here, let me pull the picture back up because I'm really bad at measurements. So you can see, did it come up? It didn't come up, did it? No, it didn't. Hang on. Oh, Mark, can you pull that up for me? Sorry, that's the problem. Okay, see where the guy's
I've got it
standing?
right there.
That's about how far down they found it.
Come
So,
on.
You
It's not
assume
coming
he's
up. I don't know.
6 foot, so
There
12,
it is.
maybe
Where
20.
was this again? What part of the world?
This was in southern
15,
Illinois.
20 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, this was pretty local to us, honestly, not too far away.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It really does look like it's brand new, and they just kind of picked that up at Lowe's and kind of jammed it into the scene there and took a picture of it.
It does. I would like to know more about it, like how it was discovered.
Yeah, that would be really. There's just a lot of information that we don't have about that one. That looks like a fairly modern, that looks like an 1800s auger bit that, you'd have in a bit and a brace,
Yeah, that you would do by hand.
Yeah. Man, my computer is not cooperating with me today either, Pam.
Sorry, I must have shared.
Let's
So
see.
yeah, Ian, it's looking like it might have been 18 to 20 feet deep that they found it.
All right, I've got an image of the Iron Pillar of Delphi, or Delhi. There he is.
Wrong button.
So, hold on. Yeah, I've become technologically illiterate. I think I rotted my brain trying to get this new camera set up. So, well, I mean, it could be argued my brain was rotten before that. So,
You are in good company because I'm struggling. I'm on the struggle bus today for sure.
here you go. Here is the Iron Pillar of Delhi. Sorry. It is, let me look at my numbers here. It is 99.72% iron. And it is, it's 1,500 years old, but could be older. They know it's at least 1,500 years old, which would be 400 years ago before the largest known foundry of the world could have produced it. So 400 years before there was a foundry big enough to cast that big of a pillar. Now, modern wrought iron can be made with a purity of 99.8%, but it contains manganese and sulfur, which are absent in this pillar.
Interesting.
So it is.
Now, is this where it was originally found, or was it moved to this location?
I believe it has been there. The inscription from about 400 AD by King Chandragupta. I'm going to just not even try. I'm going to offend somebody with my butchering of their language. So
because I can't pronounce anything either.
400 AD is when that inscription was, and so, but we don't know if the inscription is the same age as the pillar or not. Because people have a tendency, oh, this is cool, I'm going to claim it by putting my stuff on it.
Yeah.
Right.
We see that a lot in Egyptian things where they've taken the original name off and somebody else has claimed credit for it, because that's just how things are done. We see politicians doing it today. So, I mean, it should not come as a surprise to anybody. I'm sorry if you are a politician, but your predecessors and your peers have given you all a bad name, and I apologize, but it's just the way it is. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. And then there's been actually quite a bit of ironware that has been found that doesn't make sense. Now, a lot of people want to talk about the Viking sword Ulfbert, but it can be reproduced with medieval technologies, with techniques that weren't supposedly known then, but they found jersey knit in ancient Egyptian digs hundreds of years before jersey knit was ever supposed to have existed. So it could very well have been some master blacksmith who came up with a way to forge it this way, and then when he was gone, it got forgotten. Stuff like that happens. We still don't know how to make Toledo steel, and we have very good examples of Toledo steel in museums. Nobody knows exactly how Toledo steel was made. So, and that's fairly modern. That's just a few hundred years ago.
If this tower or whatever we're calling this, is it the purity of the iron why it doesn't rust?
I don't know. That's the question, and I'm sure.
Even if it's only 1,400 years old, as I recall from all the articles about it, there's no form of oxidation on it anywhere.
Just light surface oxidation, yeah. And it's not. Modern steel would have rotted away into nothing.
Long gone, yeah.
Modern iron. So maybe it was the pure. My information doesn't say what the other percentage of materials is in that.
Is it nickel? Because I'm guessing it was a meteorite that they made this on it.
No, it could have been. I mean, nickel and is one of the things we put in stainless steel to make it stainless. Although it's hardly stainless, it does rust. I've seen plenty of rusty stainless steel. It's just more rust resistant.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
It does take a long time, but I mean, I also was a bachelor and left stainless steel in the sink for much longer than it should have been, and had,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I
Surely not.
you know, I was a bachelor. These are how things are done.
But even like a cast iron pan that you may have had for generations, it'll still, you have to keep up with it. You have to
Yeah.
keep the seasoning on there so it doesn't rust and get carried away. Whereas this tower or pole or whatever we're calling it doesn't have any of that stuff. It's just been sitting out there for almost 1,500 years, and maybe somebody comes out and puts a little Scotch Brite on it every once in a while, maybe.
Maybe.
But that's doubtful.
Yeah, and when you look at the filigree stuff at the top, it's in pretty good shape. It's sharp, and the inscriptions are sharp.
It's hard to believe something could be that old and only have one of them, because if they had the ability to create these things, looks like they would have made a whole bunch of different things that would have been found about that same age.
And why would it just be one? I mean, what was its purpose? I mean, was there a light at the top, or you would maybe expect maybe a series of them holding up something else? Is that kind of a Greek pillars and stuff like that? But just one out in the middle.
I don't have enough.
Makes it even more
information on that one to really even say anything. It is just interesting that it's known to be at least that old, and it's such an astoundingly good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen India is not all that dry. There's monsoons and whatnot. I guess there are some dry regions in India. So, but in any case, even stuff we've left out in the desert, it rusts. I mean, it doesn't last all that long. Things that's just a few decades old, are almost, can be found that's almost unidentifiable. And then again, you'd be like, a while back, they found a rifle leaned up against a tree that had been there for over 100 years.
Yeah. The tree grew around it.
And it was in pretty good shape. It was probably fireable.
Pretty wild.
They were smart enough not to try, but
it'll fire once. You may, as the firee, you may get more damage than you would actually whatever you hit. So
yeah, that and that's 1800s metallurgy. That was pretty good, but it's not that good.
Right.
So
interesting. I have one that I think might be a fake. Do you guys want to see it?
Oh yeah, let's look at a fake.
I am pretty sure it's probably a fake, but it was in with the others, so I thought it would be a fun one to bring. Why is it making? Oh, I keep thinking, why is it not popping up? Because I'm not running StreamYard. That's why. This is the COSO spark plug. The COSO geode is what they call it. Now, this one was found in 1961. Wally Lane and Mike Mikesell and Virginia Maxey. These guys are co-owners of the LM&V Rockhounds Gym and Gift Shop in Olancha, California. They went into the Coso Mountains, which is like 6 miles northeast of Olancha, to look for unusual rocks for their shop. And they were up near the top of a 4,300-foot peak that overlooked the dry bed of Owens Lake, and they found this fossil-encrusted geode. So, they put it in their bag with all their other cool stuff to take back. And when they were back at the shop, Mike takes his diamond saw blade, which he cuts open geodes with, and he's just cutting through things. Well, he hits this particular geode, and it ruins his blade trying to get through it, number one. And when it comes up part, they realized that whatever is in it is not geode, it's something else. So they didn't know what to do with it. The middle of the geode, it had this metal core in it. It was about 0.08 inches or 2 millimeters in diameter. And it was enclosed in what appears to be a ceramic collar, as you can see here. So they took it to have it x-rayed, and the x-rays made them think, this is a spark plug, right? So they ended up in 1963, they displayed this for like 3 months at the Eastern California Museum in Independence. And Wally Lane apparently took possession of it at that time. And in 1969 was reportedly offering this thing for sale for $25,000. According to the estimate of a geologist that was unnamed in the original report, the age of the geode, based on the fossils that it contains, was some 500,000 years. No examination by a professional scientist or scientific organization is on record, though. So again, this was this unnamed geologist that gave this offering of what he thought it was. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I think they faked it, but I don't know.
And made it disappear.
And they made it just hope to get some money out of it, and when they were getting found out, they disappeared it. Maybe.
I mean, that could happen. And once again, sometimes if it's got a lot of calcium in it, sometimes that stuff forms a lot faster than you think it would.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen calcium deposits build up, honestly, in my sink, but I've also seen calcium deposits build up
around that stainless steel fan that you left in there.
Right. Around stuff in just a few decades, just left outside in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it could happen.
Especially
and that's
based on the type of water you have in the area, hard water, you'll get deposits a lot faster.
Well, if you've got limestone and water running through limestone, you're going to get limestone deposits
quickly,
as big as your fist, So Ian has a very good, has one about the pillar. Maybe they perfected the first one and decided we'll never get better than this. That's the only one we'll need, lads. I think more likely is like, my God, how much iron are we going to have?
That's funny.
That was hard
I'm gonna
work.
retire as the master blacksmith. This is my crowning achievement, so I don't have to build another one.
Yes, yeah. One of those two is probably about right. Or like, I'm sorry, you've emptied the treasury making this one. We can't finish your building.
Yeah.
The treasury is empty.
That's funny. So, yeah, what do you guys think? You think it's fake? I think it's fake.
I mean, just looking at the rock that it's embedded in, it's obviously a conglomerate of different rocks kind of smushed together there and plus that seems like a really big spark plug. I don't know what that would go to.
It is when you look at the size of the hand holding it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty sizable. So I'm not sure what kind of thing that would go to. And I don't know, just I would think there'd be some kind of like markings on it. It's sort of, just looking at it in this one picture, you can sort of see where it's all kind of crooked and
kind of
smashed together. It's, I don't know. That's a tough one to accept.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't have a dog in this fight, but I'm going to say it is either faked or misidentified. Something modern that's gotten this conglomerated rock to form around it, because it's got chunks in there. It looks almost like concrete, concretions. That's what they call them.
Yes.
Which can happen underwater. I mean, we've seen stuff that's just a few hundred years old. We bring up shipwreck stuff as just the minerals have created this, basically a fossil of it in just a couple hundred years. So, I mean, when was the first spark plugs out? I mean, early 1800s.
I
You know,
don't
that
even
could have
know.
been somebody's attempt to make a replacement or something, and it didn't work, and they tossed it, and this happened to it. You know, I don't know. It could go either way.
It's interesting though. Ian said
Nope.
maybe they. Oh, wrong one. Rather like Mother Shipton's cave, they're always calcifying bits and bobs up there. Yeah.
Yeah, just your standard stalactite, stalagmite type formation. Just that limestone in the water, just slowly adding layers and layers over a couple hundred years. You've got this giant monstrosity, and if
Or
it happens to be
sometimes
someone
just
chucked one of these,
depending on the pH of the water and the limestone and whatnot, you could be looking at decades.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So I mean, it happens.
They had to. I would say they would have had to have just happened upon this though, because that's a long game. You know, let's put this and see what happens. You're gonna at least, I don't know how many years it would take, depending on the circumstances.
I would say at least decades.
Yeah, it would definitely be more than like a year or 5 years. So I don't understand what the long game would have been, unless it was to try to get the 25,000. But still,
Or it is something like plaster or concrete mixed up with these rocks.
Yeah,
because concrete, if it ages right, it looks like it may be some kind of weird natural.
maybe this was like their first attempt to see if people would buy it.
Could
if
have
they
been.
would swallow and then they would have made more.
Maybe so. Maybe
I
so. Well, who knows what we'll find at the bottom? I mean, look, we're in Kansas. We have limestone running out the kazoo. So what are we going to find in
Hard water.
Yeah, hard water is
very hard water.
Yes.
Honestly, it is a struggle. I mean, those of you who live in Southeast Kansas, no matter whether you're on city water or, if God forbid you are on well water, you are constantly removing lime.
That's coming out of your insides. If you're doing that. I remember I stayed at a nice hotel there in Independence when I was down there a couple of weeks ago for the Paracon, and my house here in Derby, we have pretty hard water here. So I have like a whole house water softener. So basically every faucet and shower and all that stuff comes out the equivalent of like bottled water. It's filtered. And that was a little bit of a shock when I was brushing my teeth that morning and took a slug of water out of the faucet.
I am a former custodian. I have seen pipes this big that's only a couple decades old.
Yeah.
Down to this, and it's just calcium deposits.
Yeah.
So
we had a water dispenser on our fridge, and we had a black fridge at the time. And it was constant trying to keep the calcification off of that, because that white just really stands out on the black for sure.
Yeah, it costs more money to keep an ice machine going in Kansas.
Yeah.
Than sometimes it's worth. I mean,
that's why we drink bottled water.
Yeah, let somebody else bottle it and get rid of all that crap.
For sure.
So, I mean, when you start throwing around hard water and lots of limestone, you could get something like that maybe in less than 10 years.
Yeah, maybe.
It got to the point we were taking the urinals off the wall, putting them in a giant tub with lime away and letting them soak. And so instead of buying new ones, then we'd get them clean, replace the next one, and then put it in the tub for a month or two.
So it was just an ongoing process.
Wow. At least that's what they had started doing, and I don't know if they continued doing it because the hard water was just ruining everything.
Mm-hmm. I have to take the shower head off and soak it pretty often.
Run vinegar through it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it could be real. It could be just a few decades old. It could have been somebody's experiment that failed. They got thrown away, and the lime got to it.
Yeah.
Or it could be fake. I don't think it's
Um,
probably 500,000 years old.
Some kind of like generator or a pump or something like that they pulled that out of to fix it. That was like around a mine, and they just chucked it into the mine. And
Maybe. Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
And back in the 1800s, they weren't these factory perfect things either. A lot of
No,
these things
that's
were
true.
made by the local blacksmith,
Very.
out of locally sourced parts. I've seen some funky things in some of these antique vehicles.
Yeah.
It was like that didn't come out of no factory. Somebody made that at home because that's what they needed and they couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I could go either way on that.
Fun story, but
Whether it's fake or not, I think it's much more modern.
Probably, yeah.
I think it's much more. A lot of the things that we looked at last time, I could go either way on.
like the London hammer.
Yeah, because that looks like a concretion also.
It does.
And I'm sorry, Texas isn't that far away from Kansas, and they have a lot of limestone too.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
I have seen what limestone can, and limestone can actually start turning wood into stone. I mean, that you can see that process start within a relatively short amount of time. So, I mean, it's one of those things. Is it or isn't it? I'm going to guess it's probably wishful thinking. I don't think it's fake. I think it happened naturally. That particular one, I think, is more wishful thinking.
Yeah. Sounds
So,
good.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you want to think.
Right. Yeah, Julie said she doesn't drink tap water either, and neither does her kitty cat. I don't blame you.
I drink Mountain Dew, so I'm really healthy.
Mountain Dew.
It's better than the lime water that we have around here. Oh my God, that stuff tastes nasty. I don't even
I
like
just
drinking it.
bottled water to make tea with. Uh-oh, Enzo froze on us.
Oh,
His
no.
background's still going, though. That's interesting.
Yes, that is interesting.
Oh, I spoke too soon.
It's all frozen.
Huh.
No, Enzo. Oh no, he'll be back on in a second. I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
We can't. Technical difficulties. We cannot have a show without technical difficulties.
We cannot. Oh, there he is in the chat. WTF, right? We don't know what happened, Enzo. It was weird because your background was still going. But you froze. There you are.
Oh, he's back.
How strange is that? It's pretty wild.
All right. We've talked.
All right. Now can you hear?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you. You said you had one.
Half of basically all of my USB related stuff just all winked out for a second. So my
It was so strange.
microphone, my camera, I don't know.
But your
And
background
I
was still
think it's
going.
I
That's
think you're having the same problems I'm having. My new camera, I got one just like yours. It does a great job, but it kind of makes my hardware struggle.
Yeah.
I may
Welcome
have
to
to
my
do,
world.
I
live
may
on-
have to do something different because my hardware is really struggling to. And I've got a pretty good setup. I'm running 10 cores on my processor. I'm only running a 3050 video card, but
Because with this particular camera, I think it's a lot to do with the USB bus speed. If you have like one of the older setups, that's where your bottleneck is going to be.
yeah,
But,
I'm plugged into USB 3.0, so I should be okay. But
It should be okay. I,
Enzo breaks things again. It's becoming a habit.
I understand, Julie. I do. I'm an addict. And
I very rarely drink. Although, to be fair, I did have one about 45 minutes before my presentation a few weeks ago. So I was starting to get that afternoon drag. It's like, yep, I'll buy myself a little soda. See how that does. But I
probably
have
won't
a
sleep tonight, all the sugar.
I have a history of kidney stones, so soda is like out. I very, very rarely drink soda at all. And that's why I had the whole house filter kind of a thing that I put in for water there in the house. So, the least amount of actual mineral intake through water and everything like that, whatever I drink, is much better for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it does bring up a lot of things. The minerals and stuff around here can cause all kinds. I mean, around the country, around the world, can cause weird things to happen. Not like, it's bottled water running down the river. It picks up everything.
Makes you wonder, what did the people like 100 years ago do when they were literally just drinking stuff out of the well or out of the river or whatever? Maybe they might boil it.
Way
Kind of a thing.
Died of dysentery.
Way tougher than we are. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're wimps.
Well, you could always take a tapeworm. That makes you the dysentery won't bother you then.
No.
I might lose some weight.
That was an actual thing. You could take a tapeworm before you went someplace with bad water, and the tapeworm would protect you from getting sick. And then when you got home, you could just take whatever it was to kill the tapeworm and get rid of it.
And Ian is correct. Most folks over here stick with gin. Historically, even back, in the days of the Bible, it was safer to drink wine or something like that than it was to drink your local water.
They would eat on ships. They would add beer or rum to the water to keep it from turning green and giving you giardia.
To kill the nasties in it?
To kill the nasties in it. I mean, our Puritan forefathers, when they came over, had to land because they were out of food, especially beer. For those of you who haven't drank real beer, it is full of all sorts of nutrients and is actually fairly good for you if you do not drink it to excess.
Tastes like wet bread.
Yeah, I mean, it's liquid bread.
Wet bread.
And it was originally, they believe it occurred by accident the first couple of times. Yeah, I know, right?
Stick with gunners.
And beer was a good way to preserve your harvest to keep the rats out of it and provide nutrition through the winter. So there's that. There's my little bit of trivia. I have ADD in the internet. It's a dangerous world for me. I mean, every time I bring up the computer, I have like a 99% chance of getting lost. Where's Mark? Oh, he's out on another internet adventure.
Easy to do.
Enzo, did you say that you had one? An out of place?
Yeah, I got one. This is not exactly, spark plug or a hammer found in a rock kind of a thing. The out of place part of this is the frequency of it and the time frames involved. Let me do my see if I can remember how to share a screen here with this new setup. We're going to use this.
Hello, kids. Come watch old people use technology. It's fun.
They've changed the format since I last did it. It was actually, I've actually rigged up my background to use it because it's easier to do on the other show. But back in August, Pam and a few of the rest of our paranormal group did a road trip to the Iola Public Library to hear geologist Rex Buchanan do a presentation on petroglyphs in this part of Kansas. He actually has a book, Petroglyphs of Kansas and Smoky Hills, that he did this presentation from. About an hour or so. It was amazing and interesting seeing the history of all of it, the rediscovery of some of these places that almost all of them are on private land. So a lot of people don't like people coming on their private land and messing with it. So we can see right here on the cover of the book, you can see where someone decided to etch in some stuff on there. A lot of the stuff during the presentation was in the 300 to 400 year old range. There are some that are much older, a couple thousand years old. Not many of those around this, the Smoky Hills area of Kansas. But while Mr. Buchanan was talking, he got to this part where he was talking about different symbols and what they meant and to the culture and things like that. And there was one specific one in the, this actually is a video, which I'll throw a link in the chat if anyone's interested. It's similar to the thing that we did and that we got to hear. So you would get a little something out of that if you like, if you're interested in that. But here, Mr. Buchanan's talking about this particular thing here. I don't know if you can see my
I can see your cursor, yes.
But this bold etched out symbol right here, he pointed out that basically that was their symbol for a lizard. This is according to him. And he even was showing a lot of these glyphs to other Native American tribes around the area. He specifically mentioned one in Oklahoma where he was showing them, this and this, and he said they just did not care about all of it. There was a lot of they're like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. Yeah, okay, I could probably see that. Yeah. But when he got to the lizard petroglyph, they sat up and took notice. They were like, oh, where did you find this? How old do you think it was? A million questions. Very, very interested in this one specific lizard petroglyph. He didn't really ask why, I guess, or at least he didn't explain it to us, why that specific one was such great interest in it. But the entire time he was doing this presentation, I'm looking at this symbol and I'm like, I've seen this somewhere before.
I've seen outside it in weavings.
I've seen this someplace else in all the random nonsense from the internet, all of those rabbit holes diving deep, 3 a.m. How the hell did I get here on this website kind of thing. And as it turns out, these things are found all over the world. Some are a little different. Some of them are very specifically the same. And there's a lot of these that are actually very old, 12,000 plus years old, some of them. So what would these things be associated with? What are these symbols? Because it's not just a lizard. You wouldn't have cultures all over the world over thousands of years using the same exact type of thing for a lizard, because not all of these places may even have a lizard. And some of these do have little differences in. Turns out this symbol found all over the place is usually commonly referred to as the squatter man glyph. And one of the theories about why so many cultures have this same exact thing, because like we could even see like this one in Brazil, it's got this weird little spinny thing there. There's a lot of them usually associated with something held in reverence, something that, this was important. This was something that somebody was trying to recreate that they had seen, usually amongst like other animals, but some of the animals and stuff like that that are nearby they kind of look like the actual animal. Not like this, where very specific angles, a center line, an up or a down facing kind of bracket kind of a thing. Very strange. Well, some people did a little more research, and there's a specific high energy plasma experiments done in labs where if you introduce a magnetic field to a field of plasma, these are all like in sealed containers, so the plasma doesn't leak out over. But if you have a positive and a negative pole with this plasma in there, the more plasma you introduce, it'll start collecting around the poles just because they're charged particles. That's kind of what they do. Kind of like the aurora borealis, that kind of a, if you imagine it similar to that, not exactly, but similar. But as these things, the concentration gets higher and higher and higher, eventually your positive and your negative end up meeting in the middle. And a lot of them came up with a symbol that looks like this, where the upper part, like your positive, your lower part is your negative, where they basically arc in the middle, and you actually get like a ring around the middle section, kind of like a glowy kind of thing, almost like a little aurora just around the connection point, basically where they're shorting out kind of thing. Now, as it turns out, something like this is very possible to occur in nature. If there was an immense outburst of energy and debris from the sun, very similar to like how we see the aurora borealis, to the point where it's completely overloaded the Earth's magnetic field, you would see this in the sky, like hugely in the sky. So much so that it would probably look a little like this to ancient man, where you would have this monstrous thing that takes up the entire sky, and it would, is this what these people are drawing on the cave walls all around the world? Did something happen? And again, the time frame for some of these is quite old. Younger Dryas time frame, which was the end of the ice age, our last ice age, where there was a very rapid melt of all of the ice from the ice age and a drastic warming where something big happened to the Earth back then. There's a lot of theories and not a lot of evidence. There's, some stuff. One of the pieces of evidence is like, massive bombardment from space, from asteroids or comets, where it smashed up, the ice that was built up, the northern ice sheet specifically, and caused it to all break up, and it rapidly melted once it was all smashed apart. There's also another theory that fits in with this, basically where the sun kind of had like a micronova, where it just kind of exploded out a mass amount of material, which once interacting with the magnetic field would cause this to appear in the sky.
Large scale CMEs.
Basically, like way bigger than anything we've ever seen.
It'd be like the Carrington event on steroids.
Yeah, it's way stronger than the Carrington event, because this would last for weeks, where you would see this in the sky. Because basically, your North Pole and your South Pole, as they met, this would, and of course, this would be way out in space where you're following the magnetic lines of, the magnetosphere of the Earth. So this would be hovering like over the equator, where you could see
Most
this.
of the world would see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Depending on where you were, you saw this in the sky.
That's wild.
So it affected a lot of cultures, to include one of my favorites, the Dogon tribe in West Africa, where they include it as part of their symbology for a lot of their headdresses and stuff like that, where we can see our classical symbology there.
Yeah, sure enough.
Wow. That's a great catch, Enzo.
That is a great catch.
Is it a lizard? Well, probably, for like the stuff that's like a few hundred years old. Maybe that older stuff, maybe it's not. Maybe it is this squatter man. maybe that's why that one particular tribe in Oklahoma was like, where did you find this? Well, how old is it? What is this from? They knew, I feel. But where you certainly have super strange stuff, that you could certainly, that it may be a reach to say, this is, related to, this. However, you've got stuff all around the world that's similar, because it wouldn't have necessarily, because this much like how the Aurora Borealis, it would have been moving and it would have been wibbling and wobbling, and a lot of in this particular example, some of them have like little dots off to the side, which if you looked at this, where you've got a ring around the middle, where it concentrates on the edge, there are some out there where they have like little circles in the middle, and with the little guy with the arms up and the legs out, things like that. So it's interesting, I feel, and we still see examples of that, today. Well, at least a few hundred years ago, where it's still an iconography type, representation of something that somebody saw.
So what you get is somebody's ancestors looking at this, and then they have obviously anthropomorphized it, in addition to however it looked originally,
and incorporated it into their oral traditions.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and we all know how the whisper game goes. Just think of how that goes over, 100 generations.
Too, just because this particular tribe was interested in what Rex was showing them doesn't mean they're going to give him all the information that their tribe possesses on that, because they normally don't.
No,
because you were there right beside me, Pam. He kind of gave the impression that these tribal elders that he was showing the pictures to really didn't care about what they were being shown. They did not care at all until they saw the lizard, glyph, and it just happens to be that same exact glyph is all over the world and may be related to something that happened over 12,000 years ago.
That's fascinating.
And there is a lot of evidence that something happened in the skies 12,000 years ago, about the same time as this big melt-off. So whether it be an asteroid, and it could have been a multiple things. It could have been just could
have been all of it.
It could have been a rolling cataclysm of all. Let's just shake the dice and see what, the gods can give us. And lo and behold, the end of the world on a grand scale.
Yep.
Because, and we've talked about this before, if you look at this younger Dryas, with the rapid melt-off that they had, that they said took weeks or months, not years, weeks or months, the sea level of the whole planet went up about 400 meters.
Which is tremendous.
So you have entire continent-sized land masses that just disappear in weeks or months.
And look at how many, a lot of groups of people lived on the coasts. And
most people today, all over the world, most
that
people in the world live within a few miles of the coast.
So just that explains why there's so many cities and things that they're finding underwater, because at one time it was not, for sure, obviously.
Right. But anyways, that was the gist of what I didn't really get into the Dogon tribe, which had the fancy lizard headdresses, apparently. There's a lot of weird stuff about the Dogon tribe. They actually they're big into astronomy, from dating back to their birth thousands and thousands of years ago. So much so that they have drawn like maps of the solar system, with the planets in the concentric circles, with all the planets listed out in there, to include Neptune and Uranus, which you can't see with the naked eye. How did these people see this from 1,000 years ago? The other big one, there's a lot of like little things, but the other big one that they're known for astronomy wise is the star Sirius, dog star, down and to the left of, if you're looking at Orion. It's the brightest star that you can see from the surface of the Earth, the naked eye. So of course, it's popular in a lot of cultures throughout the years because it's the biggest one, it's the brightest one, so it stands out.
Fun.
It's actually a binary system. There's a smaller star that orbits it about every 50 years. The Dogon tribe, their maps show that star. It wasn't discovered until like the 50s by astronomers.
Interesting.
So they have some either super connected knowledge from a long time ago, or they had telescopes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that could be because, I mean, what would happen to our civilization if all the coastal cities disappeared in weeks or months? Over half the population of the world is just going to drown. Or be dislocated.
Yeah, displaced for sure.
And I mean, it would be a civilization ender.
Pretty much.
Yeah, cause a lot of issues. A lot of people would go hungry, would go homeless.
All of your gathered knowledge, all of your from back then, all your libraries, all your centers of government, all of your combined intelligence and wealth are all working out of port cities and things like that. Whereas you go a few hundred miles inland, it's more of a subsistence living, rural type conditions. Those are your farms and stuff like that.
Even
today. So,
but even if the coastal area, goes underwater, that water is going to go up the tributaries and the rivers and everything else. So that's going to expand out, and there'll be even more of a loss of land, no matter how far inland you are.
And this is why I believe that at least some of these out of place artifacts are in reference to a civilization that may have been here before. They may not have been advanced as we are, but what would happen to our civilization in 12,000 years? You wouldn't be able to find much of any of it.
Yeah.
It would just
cease to exist.
It would just cease to exist. Nature would destroy it, and you wouldn't be able to find it. Human beings have existed. People that we would recognize as people have existed for 200,000 to 300,000 years. We only have records of maybe the last 10,000 years, and they're spotty as hell.
Yeah, for sure.
So most of human history, and I guarantee you there were civilizations that rose and fell that we will never, ever hear of.
Absolutely.
And it's just all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Except maybe we're catching a glimpse here and there with the little ceramic doll that was found.
Wow.
And stuff like that.
Doll or whatever it was called. I can't remember the name of it.
It doesn't have to be this technology that we have here, the space shuttle cockpit behind me. It doesn't have to be that to be an advanced civilization. An advanced civilization would be one that has law, that has a written language, that has culture, that builds. So when we're talking advanced civilization, we're not talking astronauts in space, although, I mean, it could have happened. It absolutely could have. I mean, that's a long time period. And, ice ages are really good at grinding away any sign of anything that they cover. And we've had several in that 1,000 year time period. So I feel like it would be the height of arrogance to suggest that the Western civilization, starting back in the Middle East, and Eastern civilizations, they're what started it all. Maybe they're just the remains of what was there before.
Could be. Ian's got a couple of good ones in the chat. He said, I'm totally down with this, although we shouldn't forget the lizards are Illuminati theory.
Could be. Lizards in the sky.
And he said, Gobekli Tepe is pushing that back, and goodness knows what's hidden beneath the Sahara Desert.
Oh, yeah.
Gobekli Tepe. Have you been following what's been going on with Gobekli Tepe the last
They found some more stuff. Yeah.
Actually, they've been trying to hide stuff. Where they've been planting trees on top of potential dig sites so that the roots go down and ruin stuff. Then they remove the stuff and they get pressured by the international community. It's like, hey, when are you going to start, digging, doing more research? Or like, we think we're going to wait like about 100 years till like technology improves and we've learned more about what?
No, they don't
what?
want
you not.
What do they know that we don't?
Grant money. I'm telling you, it's grant money. People are pressuring them to stop because if they find out their pet theory is bogus, they lose all their grant money. Follow the money trail. And that's what you're going to find. I mean,
there is a bizarre theory out there, which I don't necessarily subscribe to. It's just super weird, but when you consider this, it's like, oh shit, this kind of fits. Basically, because of where it's located in Turkey, not that far away from where supposedly, Noah's Ark landed in Mount Ararat. It's a distance away, but it's not that far. But some of what they've been seeing proves that story is true. And
we know there was a flood.
Being a mostly Muslim country, why advertise that Christianity got something right? So that's why they're kind of covering it up and we'll get to that like in 100 years when our technology gets better, so we don't just accidentally destroy something.
That's actually not that bizarre when you look at the behavior of some of these groups. Even Christian groups, as we know, can be very destructive of what they find. They burned entire libraries of information in the Americas. So we've lost several entire civilizations worth of knowledge because of Christians. Oh, that's not ours. It's the devil's work. We're just going to burn it all. We don't understand the word it says, but we're going to burn it all.
Yeah. That's a lot.
I mean, it is. And that's not Christians. That's not Muslim. That's human. How humans behave. Yeah. They behave rather poorly a lot of the time. If you haven't watched the news in the last 30 years or ever. Humans behave poorly.
Humans are terrible for the planet.
We run the whole gamut from absolutely horrid to, saints. Actual, real saints. There are people like that out there. And then most of us are somewhere in between that. Yeah. But there are monsters on one end and saints on the other and everything in between. And I'm sorry. Bad things are going to happen, and it's probably because of people. But good things are going to happen, and that's also because of people. So, it's just how it is. That's how people are.
Humans are horrible, Julie says. Some of them are.
For the planet.
Some of them are, Julie. Some of them are. Anyway, that being said, we have a couple more, or do we want to wrap this up and revisit again in a few months? Because I do enjoy this line of discussion. I hope our viewers and listeners enjoy these lines of discussion, because I think these ones about ancient history and about what might have been. I find highly stimulating. It's not paranormal,
too.
but it is fringy, which is why we
Yeah.
talk about it on the fringe. But
I'd actually like to see something for the next Paracon on stuffing like this, even if it's having Rex Buchanan come down and talk about some of that stuff, or Jim talk about some of the the Serpent and Taglio and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I mean, it doesn't have to be paranormal to be at a Paracon.
No.
I mean,
If you go to Contact in the Desert, which is a UFO thing, they do have a big chunk that's all ancient archaeology type stuff, like the things we just been talking about. It's a big interest.
Yeah.
I dig it because, like I said, 300,000 years, it may be more. I need to really look that up. I've heard estimates from 100,000 to 300,000 years that people that we would recognize as humans have been around. Humans aren't dumb. Well, they are dumb, but they're also very smart. Look at the Greeks.
It's what it boils down to.
We've got thumbs. Look at the Greeks. They had calculated the circumference of the Earth within 200 miles.
Yeah.
Using primitive equipment.
Yep.
Math. The only reason they were wrong is because they miscalculated where the equator was by not a whole hell of a lot.
Because the equator actually bulges out a little bit from centrifugal force of the Earth spinning, versus if you were to measure from to the poles. If you measure that way, it would be kind of accurate. But it actually gets a little much like me, fatter around the middle as you go down. So
right. I feel you, brother. I feel you. So, people are very smart. And what was it the other day? I mean, this is totally off topic, but on topic at the same time. They discovered a clay tablet that has a different version of trigonometry based on wholly different principles, and all the math works out.
Really? That's
From, I believe, Samaria or somewhere in that region.
Huh.
So they were aware of advanced trigonometry that's completely different than our trigonometry, but the math also works out. So there is more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. Our ancestors were not as dumb as we would like to think, and we are not as smart as we would like to think. So, I mean, it goes both ways, folks. And
British author Andrew Collins has covered a lot of the ancient archaeology subjects from Egypt to Turkey. Well worth looking up. I was sitting here taking notes. I will definitely look that up.
This guy.
Hey, Graham Hancock. Yeah, there you go.
This guy.
Yeah.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a fairly nice collection of his books sitting over here, actually, that are on my to-read list instead of just to scan through for specific things, which I usually
He's
do.
a very nice person. I met him at Contact in the Desert the last time I went there 2 years ago.
Really? That's cool.
I would love to meet that guy. I would love to just sit down and.
So did everybody else. That's why I didn't get a chance to say more than "Hi, it's great to meet you," and that was kind of it.
I would buy him dinner all day long. I would buy him all 3 meals. And
he is a strict vegetarian. There's your heads up.
I will eat at whatever restaurant he wants to eat as long as he's talking. And I will pick up the bill.
Nice.
So
I think we should definitely carry this over into another, because we barely touched on anything.
And it's so stimulating. It's a stimulating conversation. It
is very much so.
I mean,
I'll admit, my thing was certainly probably a little off topic, but
no, I actually think it was absolutely.
I love it. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, is there an actual connection between the thing that Pam and I went to with Mr. Buchanan? Probably not, but that same symbology is worldwide. Is it a coincidence? I don't know.
The fact that it tickled your brain and led you down that rabbit hole.
I don't think I mentioned it at the time when it was going because I was like, I couldn't remember what it was I'd seen. And it was actually a video I'd seen on YouTube. Because YouTube, if you put in Squatter Man, petroglyphs in YouTube, there's hundreds of different videos, basically recounting everything I just talked about. Specifically, the plasma experiments and how basically when it's extreme enough, that's the shape of how they discharge against a positive and negative versions of themselves. And if that happened on a worldwide, global type event, you would see it everywhere in the sky.
And nobody would be able to talk about it because that would totally wipe out our technology.
Oh, yeah.
That would make the Carrington event look like static electricity and your doorknob.
Yep.
There would not be any technology functioning anywhere. I don't even think hardened technology would survive that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Because that level of stuff, that's going down to like the core of the planet.
Yeah, and it would actually shorten everybody's life because that's plasma radiation. That's
why I have a Geiger counter.
It's gonna get it's gonna get rough. It's gonna get rough. So yeah, let's revisit this again and related topics because I love this stuff. I know you guys do too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I love digging through this stuff and just chewing on it. Like I said, some of it I feel like is fake or misidentified. But then you get into stuff like what the actual
talking about, though.
Yeah. What is going on here? Because there might be something to this. So anyway, there we are. And heck, even your coal seam stuff, we discussed last time how some of that stuff might not take as long to form as we think.
Yeah.
So we could get a screw in a coal seam or whatever. I would not put screws and stuff as being out of the realm of possibility for an ancient civilization at all because, screws aren't that hard. They're not that hard to make. Our ancestors were making them 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Really, our ancestors before the fall of whatever civilization it was were smart enough to come up with a screw as well.
Yep.
Hell, they might even had printing presses and everything else. We don't know.
Yeah, that's the problem is because
Swallowed by the
all
sea.
was lost so long ago.
Yeah.
We don't know the level of technology, whoever it was that came before, and even the survivors, what their knowledge level was. There's certainly, and Hancock talks about it. Mostly a lot of the Pacific-based civilizations have stories of the flood myth, and then shortly afterwards, these strangers showing up to educate the people on how to grow crops and how to filter water and how to build stuff and things like that. And then they get back in their boat and truck off to the next place.
A lot of civilizations have those stories. So like the survivor said, well, if we want to have trade again, we've got to get as many of these people going as we can.
Yep.
I can see that.
Absolutely. Kentucky, there's some of that in there.
That's available in hardback. I'm going to buy one. I put it on my Christmas list. So I don't get it for Christmas. I'm going to buy it myself. But last year, I got the Lord of the Rings in the hardback version with the graphic from the 1950s on them.
Nice.
My precious.
You've got a nice library started back there.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I've got more room to expand too. So
you've been in my house. My library's expanded to my
my old bookshelf. I think is going to go over here out of sight. But I think it's going to go back up.
Yeah,
I'm going to run out of room.
My mom, she has been coming by more often since I damaged myself, and she looked at my book stack. where I sit at the dining room table, and she was like, "Don't you want to put those up?" And I was like, "Nope, don't touch them. Those are necessary." So she just gave me the look.
If I were to actually try to read my to-read pile, that's how I would finish the rest of my life. I would not get another thing done.
Yep.
Bring me food, give me a bedpan, because that's all we're doing, folks.
For sure.
And I would still not get to the end of my to-read pile. Have you ever seen the Book Goblin on
No.
Facebook? Look up the Book Goblin. While our genres are different that we read, I identify a great deal with Book Goblin.
Yay. That's funny.
So do look up Book Goblin. It's hilarious.
I'll add it to it.
Anybody who is any kind of bibliophile will find a lot of humor. The lady who does it is a writer, and Book Goblin is her alter ego that she's always speaking to, and it is freaking hilarious. And I mean, all of us would totally identify with it. So,
Too funny.
all right, folks. Well, that said, it's time to say goodnight, and we will put our heads together and come up with another stimulating conversation for next time.
For sure.
So, good night, everybody.
Good night.